Welcome back to our Sailrite workbench. This is the 5th video in a series we're calling Learning to Sew. So whether you're new to sewing or you just need a refresher, this is the perfect place for you. Today's video, we're going to be going over the 2 most common ways to sew zippers. We will be teaching you how to sew a zipper using the fold under method, which can be used on a variety of applications, including bags and canvas work. We're also going to show you how to sew zipper plaques for cushions and pillows. Let's start with the fold under method. We are going to be showing you this method on a single piece of marine canvas with a size 5 finished zipper. If you're not sure what zipper is right for your application, make sure to check out our zipper selection guide by clicking the info button in the top right corner of the screen. Depending on your application and pattern, you can either keep the zipper tape together and sew down both sides of the fabric, or you can separate the teeth and sew each side separately. It's a little bit more complex to sew each zipper separately, so that's what we're going to show you for this example. If you're working with a large span of zipper tape, so larger than we have here, but we're going to show you for this example, you'll want to make sure that you have match-up marks to ensure that the teeth line up with each other so that when you zip it, there won't be any bubbles or spacing differences. So we're going to show you how to do that, even though you typically do it on a larger application than this. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a marking tool, and you're going to flip the zipper upside down. Since this is the side that we're going to be referencing and sewing on, we'll want to make the mark on this side. So we're going to line it up against the edge where we're going to want it sewn. So we're going to have this edge just a little bit further down and then this top edge a little bit further up. And then we're going to make a mark on this fabric and just go ahead and go all the way across. We'll just have 3 match-up marks, one on the top, bottom, and the middle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slide this piece over to this edge and line it up with the top and bottom that we marked on the other side. And we're going to line those same marks up. So once those marks are made, we can go ahead and separate the zipper. We are going to start with one side of the chain and one side of the fabric. So we're going to place the second one to the side. Right now we're working with the piece that has the zipper attached, and we're going to be sewing it with the zipper part facing down so that it matches up with our match-up marks. So the zipper is going to lie like this when it's sewn. So on the opposite side, we're going to add some basting tape. We're going to be using a 1/4 inch basting tape so that we can get the basting tape as far over on the edge as possible so it doesn't get stuck in the zipper chain or it isn't visible on the application. Now we're going to remove the transfer paper and line up the zipper evenly with the fabric edge. This is where you'll want the match-up marks to line up. At this point, you can either sew a line of stitches on this side and then sew a top stitch when you flip it, or you can just go ahead and fold it over and sew a single stitch to secure it. By sewing a first stitch line here, you will create a line of stitches that are hidden and won't be exposed to sun or abrasion, while also providing extra strength. So if those things are important for your project, choose that option. Otherwise, you can just fold the top piece over and sew. We're going to be sewing the 2 lines of stitches for our example, just to be able to show you what that looks like, but feel free to skip this next step. So we're going to take this piece over to our sewing machine, and we're actually going to change our foot out for a zipper foot. So now with our zipper foot, we're going to take it under the sewing machine foot, and we're going to sew a line of stitches that are a 1/4 inch away from the edge. So next, we're going to flip the piece and fold the fabric back to expose the right side of the zipper. So at this point, you can decide whether you want to make your fabric lie on the zipper or further back from the zipper. You can either have the teeth kind of hidden by the fabric, so that when you zip it up, the zipper will be hidden, or you can have the fabric folded a little bit further back. And this is really just your preference. So for our example, we're going to be folding it back a little bit further. So now we're gonna sew a stitch on the top. Make sure that you leave enough room between the teeth in the fabric for the slide to pass without the ability for it to get caught on the fabric. So there is one half of the zipper, and now we're gonna finish the other side and show you the finished look. So here is the finished stitch. So just pretend like this is two sides of a bag. So that's what it'll look like when it's done. The second zipper approach is called a zipper plaque, and it's used mainly for pillows and cushions. This way of sewing zippers will leave the zipper hidden beneath the fabric. We are going to be using a long, narrow piece of fabric like this one to imitate the side of a cushion where you'd want to add a zipper. So we're going to put our zipper to the side just for a second, and we're going to fold this piece in half, and we're going to have the wrong side facing out. Now on the side that has the fold, we're going to sew a stitch along that edge. Now to get our seam allowance, we're going to want half of the width of the zipper tape. So we're gonna line our zipper up about right in the dead center of the zipper. Then we're gonna use our magnetic sewing guide and line it up at that distance. That way we can remove the zipper, put it to the side, and use that as our distance. This is just a tacking stitch, so it's gonna be removed later on. Because of this, we don't need a back stitch at the beginning or end, and we're going to be using the longest stitch length possible. The next step is to cut the crease open. Then open the assembly and splay out the hemmed area so that it lies flat. Depending on your fabric, sometimes it can be easier to iron this out, or if you don't have an iron or your fabric can't be ironed, you can also just use the edge of the table to get it to lie flat. So there we go. I think that's about as good as we can get it to lie. Now we're gonna take our zipper and we're gonna lay it face down. So the side that's gonna be the outside is gonna be laid down because this is the back side of the application. And we're gonna line it up. Because we use half the zipper width, it should line up pretty perfectly with the edge of the splayed area. So now we're gonna take it over to our sewing machine and sew a stitch down either side. Since this stitch will be permanent, we are gonna back stitch on this one. And again, we're just gonna make sure as we sew that the zipper chain is gonna be lined up exactly in the middle. Now we're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. Next, take a seam ripper. We're gonna flip this over to the right side, and we're gonna remove this first stitch that we made. So we're gonna get it started and flip to the side with the safety ball. So then we have the exposed zipper, and it can be totally hidden by the fabric. Now, obviously, if this was a real application, you would want to have something to stop the end of the slider from running off the chain, or sewing a piece of fabric here to add stops. But for this example, we're going to leave the zipper as is. Those are just two of the most common ways to sew zippers. Now, if you haven't already seen the rest of our Learning to Sew series, we've linked the playlist in the description below so that you can catch up and watch them all. Now, if you're looking for a project to start your sewing journey, we have plenty of free how-to videos for beginners all the way through more advanced sewers. Make sure to subscribe to our two YouTube channels, Sailrite Workbench and Sailrite DIY, because you won't want to miss out on the hundreds of free video resources there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time for part 6 of our Learning to Sew series.